Hey, y'all, listen. It's Tuesday. We got 2 more days before Thanksgiving, but it's Tuesday night. It's trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title is called Unbelievable. So, listen, if y'all hanging out with me for this moment 2 days before Thanksgiving, don't forget, y'all, hit the like button, okay? Hit the like button, people. Come in the building and hit the like button. Listen, the title is called Unbelievable. We got stuff to talk about. I'm sure maybe many of y'all have seen this. The singer, R&B singer Mario violated while on stage singing. Not just violated, but violated by a married woman because the woman who touched his private area had a wedding a ring on. I don't. Y'all gotta help me out. I don't understand people. Like, you really are that bold and brazen that you gonna touch somebody you don't even know their private area? And if a man would have did that to you, all heck would have broke loose. That was wild. It was crazy. And I do think they should find this woman and arrest her. Because if it was a man, this thing would be blowing up and they would be looking for him and arresting him. If it was a man that touched a female artist on the stage. We got to use the same energy across the board. And that's why I'm telling you the title tonight is Unbelievable. And then, we wonder how we get these kids. Remember, we did the story last week where the kids beat up the mother and her son. We wonder where these kids come from, how these kids end up being the way that they are. Well, when you have a father like Brian McKnight, is no need to wonder how maybe you perhaps may turn out a little crazy. And I'm not saying that Brian McKnight's kids are or were, because one of his children passed away. But I'm just saying, when you got a man like Brian McKnight as a father, good luck to you. Really, good luck to you. This man is psychotic, if you ask me. Every time he gets on somebody's podcast and he want to talk, he keeps talking about how his children from his first marriage were not made out of love. And you're doing that and the kids are here. You're saying that and one of your kids have passed away. I hope this man don't ever need a body part like a kidney or something like that. Because it would be very ironic if he does, and the only person that will be a match to him is the kids that he said wasn't made out of love. The man got issues. And respectfully, his current wife do too. Because let me tell you this, for sure, if he was my husband, I don't care what happened in that first marriage, I would be like, I'm going to need you to stop talking about it, or, me and you ain't going to last. You keep talking about this woman and your children like that. It's disgusting. But he doubles down. And he's very serious about his nasty and evilness. It's just evil. It's diabolical, if you ask me. But we're going to have a discussion about it. And then the last story, I often tell you over here, for me, when someone gets sentenced to jail, that is the punishment. The fact that they got sentenced to jail, that is their punishment. I don't feel like they should be treated so inhumane once they're behind bars. Now, I lost my state. Let me just go back and see what state this is in. I want to say San Francisco. It's in San Francisco. A group of female inmates said that they were subjected to a group strip search. And they said male correctional officers or guards, well, not only was they looking at them, they said their body cameras were on, and they joked about if the footage hits like Facebook, they told the ladies, don't worry, we will blur certain things out. I don't know how a group of people could come together and participate in bad behavior. It's one thing if you got one person acting a fool, You could be like, that was isolated to that particular employee. That employee is being fired. We don't do this, right? But when you have a group of what are supposed to be professionals, correctional officers, and they got their body cameras on, and they're telling these women to bend over lower, spread it wider. Perverts. Disgusting. And I know that unfortunately they can't have all female correction officers working at a female prison, but no male correctional officer should be doing a strip down or a pat down. Yeah, they willingly want to lose their jobs, and they need to today. It was disgusting. When I saw that story, I was like, is this for real? And in one day, I almost feel like I could be the news, because in one day, literally, I must look at about 10 to 20 stories every day. And I try to pull which ones we're going to do in trending topics. And some of them, I just don't be ready to do it. It's just too much. It's not that I don't see the story. I'm just like, all right, I can't do this today. Like I'm sure y'all might have heard of that story where the woman was in the morgue already, actually in the casket. They was about, maybe not in the casket. They was about to cremate the woman, and then they found out she was still alive. How does that happen? Another story I came across, the man killed his wife, buried his wife, then dug her up just so he can violate the dead body. It'd be craziness out there, and legit, I'd be looking like I don't even think this can't be for real. We could be on trending topics from the time I come on to the next morning if we went over all the stories that are out there, and the stories are wild. And then, just to give you an update real quick before I bring the people in the building, the young lady, because we did 2 pregnant stories where they was treated horrifically in the hospital, but the young lady who got kicked out the hospital and then 8 minutes later had her baby. She had her baby outside in the car, and then they went to another hospital. Well, she had to return back to the hospital because she's having complications. They need to sue that hospital that kicked them out. I don't care that the doctor and the nurse were fired. They need to sue that hospital, and they need to sue it for double-digit millions, because what they did to that mom was egregious. And statistically, this is not just Diva trying to put 20 on 10. Statistically, if you look up the statistics, it will tell you that at an alarming rate, Black women given pregnancy die more than any other demographic group out there. Why do the people hate Black people so much? I don't understand it. What did we do? Because our skin has got a little tone to it. It's sad. Every mother deserves to live. Every mother deserves to deliver her baby in the hospital if that's what they choose. Every person that goes to a hospital for help deserves to be helped. And yes, you got to get across the basic questions. But we're easily not believed. And the doctor that looked at that mom that delivered 8 minutes later and said she wasn't fully dilated, they not only need to be fired, they need to take their license away because they're not ready. But remember, that mom said she never saw the doctor. But the doctor wrote the orders to discharge her. Shame on you. You're trash. And now this mother is suffering complications. She needs to sue the hospital and that doctor. Come on, Fifi. I ain't mad at you. That's why I'll never see for Dr. Jackie. Your pain is not real, Dr. Jackie Walters. This is a sick world. But listen, people, I done talked enough. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for me to bring the people on in the building, okay? I need a what in the chat. I need a choo choo. Hold aboard, everybody. It is Tuesday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title is called Unbelievable. We got Mario, the singer, a woman, a fan that actually paid for her ticket. She reached up and actually touched his junk and had a wedding ring on. And she thought that was okay. If I was her husband, I'd be questioning her. And I'd be like, you know what, we good. You touching somebody else's stuff? Where they do that at? We got Brian McKnight doubles down, and we got the jail scandal. Let me bring the people on in. Hey, in my opinion. Hey, Katrina.
Hey, Diva, choo choo.
Choo choo.
Hey, Diva. Hey, Tunnel. Hey, Ted.
I'm not doing the Braxton. Let me fix that background. So listen, guys. We're gonna go ahead and get right into these stories. It's just like I said, the title is called Unbelievable. But let's get into first. We might as well go to the singer Mario, who this woman is married, and she I will do the short version from TMZ. Hold on. So fan gets handsy down below mid-show. That's the a picture there. You see this woman actually, she got a wedding band on. Actually, she touched him there. Like, this woman is crazy. One of Mario's fans may have taken "Let Me Love You" way too literally during a recent show, reaching in and rubbing his crotch mid-performance, and the R&B star clearly wasn't having it. This is a fan. I'm gonna play this, but I want to mute this sound because music is playing. And you see her? And he said something to her really quickly. But that woman had her hand on his private area. And he kept singing like a professional, but how sad is that? The incident reportedly went down Saturday during Mario's tour. Stopped in Detroit at the Masonic Jack White Theater. And in a now viral clip, he's seen passionately serenading the crowd, inching toward the edge of the stage when a front row fan suddenly slides their hand right onto his crotch. The fan liners for a moment, fully cuffing his private area, and Mario shoos them off and appears to gently scold them. According to the woman who recorded the video, she says Mario was actually pretty nice about it. To his credit, Mario didn't skip a beat and keeps belting a ballad, although he does take a few steps back from the crowd. Bottom line, look, don't touch, especially down there. This woman is disgusting, and if that was a male that did that, it would be outrage right now. Pure outrage. In my opinion, your thoughts?
My thoughts is that's assault, and I think she should have assault charges on her. Just like women don't want to be touched in their private areas, men shouldn't have to be touched in their private areas neither. He came to serve as a concert person, not as your, you know what. Um, if you got that wedding ring on, you should have brought your husband with you, and maybe you could have grabbed on heels while he was singing. This is ridiculous, and I think these fans are getting ridiculous.
In my opinion, you are correct. The fans are getting ridiculous. Katrina, your thoughts?
Yeah, Diva. I like Mario. I know his mom had some substance abuse issues, and he got her help. He had brought her on this show. I forgot, it used to be on A&E. Anyway, she touched the right one. Listen, if that was what little, not little baby, what is 9 year little baby, he would just smacked her. If that was Buster Rhymes, he would have just slapped her. It was somebody else. She touched the right one, and then whatever he said to her, he probably told her don't do that. But she got out real good because she didn't touch the right one. I promise you, she didn't. And that's sad, lady. That's just disgusting. That's totally disgusting. What if that was your son on that stage dancing and another woman touched your son in his private parts without asking? But we got to give it up for him. He kept it going. He kept doing what he had to do. and he kept the show rolling. But she had no reason to do that. And I don't know if they ever show her face or anything like that. But if I was a husband, I'd be like, what in the heck you got going on? If you doing this behind my back, what you doing when I'm not even around or at the house? It's just crazy. But good look, Mario, and whoever that is, she's disgusting. That's all I got, D.
Disgusting. Jeremy, you right, nasty and sick. She need to be on the offender list. She do. She do. And her husband, we don't know who she is, but I'm sure her husband recognized that hand. I would be disgusted. Like, who does that? And I mean, like I think both of you said, but like in my opinion, said, these fans are really getting out of control. They are crazy. And to me, I was thinking, where was his security and why wasn't they at the perimeter of that stage? I recently went to a concert and security, you wasn't getting up on those the entertainers. Because security, when those people was coming too close, they was backing them up. And I went to see John B, Case, and Joe. And they wasn't playing. The fans was coming up close to there and they was trying to touch him and all of that. And they backed them up.
You went to go see who?
It was John B, Case, and Joe.
Girl, you went to go see my husband.
And well,
John B. I'm just playing.
your husband, he looked good. He looked good. We don't have any information about her, Savannah, like that she was kicked out. None of that. We don't have any information. But I'm sure it probably is going to surface soon because that video went viral. And a lot of people, I will say, were in the chat saying they need the same energy that we would have if this was a female that got grabbed or violated. And yeah, he kept it professional. He kept it calm. But I mean, I don't. And then remember, it was that phase for 1 minute where the people was throwing stuff on the stage and hitting the artist. And
yeah, because Cardi B hit somebody with a microphone.
Yeah,
they throw water on her, and she threw that microphone, hit him on top of the head.
Yeah, so I don't know. I just think this is getting ridiculous. But I'm gonna go ahead and roll into the next story. Brian McKnight something is wrong with him. I really, like, all jokes aside, I think something is wrong with him. He's been saying for a minute now about how his kids from the first marriage were not made in love. But the fact that he's going around on podcasts and he's doubling down on this, it's sick and it's sad. It's beyond sad. Yeah, he's trash. I just don't even understand it. And I really would like to know, like, what is his point? What is his point? So let's get into this. Brian McKnight doubles down on children not being made from love. So singer and songwriter Brian McKnight maintains that the children he shares with his first wife, Julie McKnight, were born out of sin. In an interview with podcaster Anton Daniels, McKnight opened up about his marriage of 13 years with Julie. The former couple, who married in 1990, shared 2 sons, Brian Jr. and Nico. He shared that his first marriage happened under religious pressure and that the breakdown of the family was the result of manipulation, not abandonment. The Back at One singer, who is currently married to Leilani Melila Mendoza, explained that Julie was a freshman in college and he was a sophomore when they began dating. He added that she became pregnant the following year and told him she planned to have an abortion. He's messy. Brian said that because of how young they were, he supported her decision at the time. She tells me she's pregnant and that she's going to get an abortion, right? I'm like, yeah, we should probably do that. I mean, you're 18, I'm 20. I'm just about to start this whole thing, Maybe this is the route we need to go. And she agrees. And we have this whole thing. She goes by herself. However, as he signed his record deal, Julie told him that she had not gone through with the abortion. He's a mess. Brian revealed that he had not expected this, claiming that Julie had told him she had an abortion in high school, which made him believe she would follow through with the decision. The couple eventually married and moved to California. He shared that he and Julie's family are 2 prominent families in Black Adventist Church. I honored my mother and I tried to do the right thing with a woman that I hadn't even known a year yet, he said. We got married in September, baby in November. Well, if you want to honor your mother, you shouldn't have laid down with nobody without a condom, and you shouldn't have laid down with anybody that you wasn't married to. It's trash.
Right.
We separated 4 times before we ended up getting divorced ultimately anyway.
Really? How far into the marriage was would you say the first separation?
2 years.
Because you were married for what, 13 years?
Yeah, 13.
And so 2 years in, there was a separation.
Yep.
And then you come back and then it's another separation.
Yep.
Wow. So why not just break off? Why stick it out for 13 years?
For the kids.
Because it almost seemed as though the way that we're framing this, it kind of seems like an arranged marriage to an extent because of the kids.
Yeah. Listen, you're torn because I was never in love with their mother.
Mm.
I wasn't. They weren't made from love to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And I said this before, and people got so mad that this obligation that just because you lay with somebody now, it's sort of an 18-year sentence of some kind, or beyond that, because it's forever. And there's resentment there.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you do have these children, and you want to try to do your best to do right by them. And in a couple of those separations, especially with the younger child, he didn't know me.
Mm.
He'd come over, he'd dropped off at my house, and, he'd cry for however long, and he wouldn't want to be there. And it's understandable why he wouldn't. If we were never supposed to be together like this in the first place, but we have these children, it's a 2-parent situation. It's not one.
Yeah.
It's not, we both have to do what's right for them. And you're right. What we should have done was just separated for good then.
Yeah.
And we didn't. And the last separation that we had, and we came back, it was because of that. It was like, now I was 98, so he's 6.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still feeling that way, even though he's been living in the house with me, and now he's back gone again. And I was just like, listen, I need some time so I can have a better relationship with him.
Yeah.
And ultimately, once I felt like that was the case, it was time to move on.
Yeah. What about...
The man is trash. He also said a marriage was never compatible. I was never in love with their mother, McKnight claimed. They weren't made from love to begin with. I said this before and people got so mad. This obligation, just because you lay with somebody, it's sort of an 18-year sentence of some kind, or beyond that, because it's forever. There's resentment there. But at the same time, you have these children. McKnight explained that he and Julie separated 4 times before ultimately divorcing in 2003. He said the only reason they stayed together as long as they did was because of their sons. The kids were the thing that kept us together as long as we would, he told Daniels. He added that he thinks his on and off relationship with Julie definitely affected their kids. He believes that if they were separated for good, certain dynamics would have been better. I've never seen anything like this, man. It is insane to me. In my opinion, your thoughts?
What is a shame is that he happens to be these kids' father, and he's talking reckless like this.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how you feel about that woman or that relationship, it doesn't take the place of you lay down with her. It took 2 to have those kids. Those are still your kids. You can say all day they're not, but they are. And this is the stuff that you want them to hear.
Mm.
So in your mind, you don't give a dang about how they feel, their mental health or nothing, because you are literally destroying their mental health. Every time you get up on podcast or TV or anywhere, he makes it an issue to talk about how bad he hated these kids and didn't want them.
Mm.
You a ain't nigga. And I hate using that word, but that's what he is.
Mm.
You for the streets and you trash. And Leilani can have you because she for the trash too. Because it ain't no woman alive that could hear somebody talk about their kids the way he talking about them and will still stand by him Not check him at all.
Mm.
I don't want to say nothing else about that man. Okay.
Thank you. In my opinion, Katrina, your thoughts?
Okay, in my opinion, you said a mouthful. What else gonna say? I don't like neither one of those two crows sitting up there. I don't like the blog or the podcast. I can't stand him. Brian McKnight, he's such a disappointment. I mean, this is totally ridiculous. And if you say your kids wasn't born out of love, well, then why you didn't have them baptized? If you say they was born in sin, get them baptized. That will wipe away all their sins. He just a, like, it don't make no sense for nobody can do that.
Married when they had them though,
Yeah,
Katrina.
they was
That's why
married.
he killed me with
He
that.
just sick. He's sick. Because why in the world would you sit up and say something like that? Your ass stayed there with the lady and made the kids. So what do you think is going to happen if you didn't use protection, if you have an unprotected sex? Oh, you didn't know that could happen? Oh, wow. You is totally stupid. And if you didn't want to be with her, why don't you just let her go and be by herself? You didn't have to be in her life because of a child. We got plenty of people that's not in these kids' lives because they're the father. You is just ridiculous, stupid, and sad. And it doesn't make any sense for you to keep bringing your crazy looking tail on these blogs saying this stuff about your children. And as God will always say, you reap what you sow. So these are the kids that you sowed. But what will happen when you need to be reaping? Because you might need something that these kids have that you can't get from nobody else. And I will tell them, no, I can't give you no part of me because it ain't got no love in it. That's all I got.
Yeah, I just really wonder if he ever needed a kidney and the only match was the son, because his one son, Nico, passed away. May he rest in peace. If the
He
son,
didn't want to help that kid, so no, they never one of them gonna give him nothing. And
right.
I said 10 toes down, they shouldn't. And Tyler, he need to stop talking in the chat.
Yeah, but but what I was going to say was that if he needed a kidney and that one living son from the marriage where he didn't make them out of love, was the only person that can offer him a kidney, and that child did, would he take it? Like, he's just messy. He's
That's what
just
I'm saying. Like,
and,
you don't know what you're gonna need before you leave off this earth. You don't know who you're gonna have to come back to. That's why my granddaddy used to always say, "Don't ever burn the bridge because you never know if you're gonna have to cross that bridge again." He just messing it up for himself. He don't know what his health gonna turn out to be. He really don't. And it's sad that you sit yourself telling these kids this. These are children, but they grown now. But I just wonder how they felt growing up in the house with him, knowing that he didn't love them. This is sad.
yeah, he's terrible. And the other piece of it is too, is like, you just keep, I don't know, he just keeps doubling down on this. I really don't get it. Now let me say this: the day that that podcast originally came out, this is what his ex-wife said. Just so we'll take a look real quick.
Hi, family. The word for today is watch. Let me show you how to do it. Open, close, open.
She's handling her well, because I mean, she probably dealt with it for most of her life from the moment that she got with this man. And for him to sit there and say, because he wanted to shame her too, right? When he wanted to say, oh, she said she was going to get an abortion, and I thought she was going to follow through with it. Because she got one in high school. He was being real messy with that. He's a disgusting piece of work. And you know what? I think he for sure is one of those people that he's going to reap what he's sowing. He's sowing nastiness. But a lot of his concerts, you can't even sell tickets to them anymore. There was recently some university or something where he was scheduled to speak, and they had to end up canceling him because even the people on the campus was like, don't bring that man up here. So that speaks volumes when you're walking around doing what you're doing, the nasty work. You want the definition of nasty work. That is what he is given, nasty work. Now I'm gonna go ahead and roll right into the next story. And the next story is this jail that, pretty much violated the inmates, the female inmates. Let's go here. Yeah, this is it.
Strip search for no apparent reason. That's what a group of women are claiming against the San Francisco Sheriff's Department.
Now, some of the women also raised concerns that the deputies actually had their body-worn cameras rolling during those searches, and that's something that the public defender's office is unusual. NBC Barry's Sergio Quintana reports from the county jail.
Protesters outside the San Francisco jail say the group strip search happened in May. Attorney Elizabeth Bertolino has filed a legal claim on behalf of 19 women. She says she first learned about it from a client who's still in custody awaiting trial. According to her client's accounts, more than a dozen male deputies helped their female colleagues round up the inmates. Then the women deputies conducted strip searches, but all within close proximity.
One of my clients was disabled, and so she wasn't able to bend as low as the guards wanted her to bend. The women who were not strip searched, they recall hearing the guards shouting at the women, bend lower, cough harder, screaming at the women.
What's more, her clients say the deputies' body-worn cameras were recording. She says some of the inmates raised that concern, but were met with mockery.
The deputies are saying, don't worry, if we upload it onto YouTube, we'll have it blurred out, which even if that is a joke, it is disturbing.
The public defender's office filed a written complaint with the sheriff's office in early October. Public defender Manu Rajot says this incident goes well beyond how deputies are supposed to conduct strip searches of inmates.
From all the reports that we've heard, it clearly went way beyond what that policy was intended for.
The assistant sheriff of the department did respond to these allegations with a brief prepared statement and didn't answer any questions.
Although we cannot discuss more specific details of the investigations into this incident, personnel action was taken.
The sheriff's department denies this was a mass search, saying each inmate was searched in individual stalls. And the department says body-worn cameras by deputies are not supposed to be recording during a strip search. But their spokespeople would not answer any follow-up questions about the incident. In San Francisco, Sergio Quintana, NBC Bay Area News.
We begin with disturbing claims that women inmates were subjected to an embarrassing strip search at a San Francisco County jail.
And the women now taking legal action, saying deputies recorded the search. And today, advocates and city leaders gathered to demand accountability. Brad Hamilton breaks down the allegations and how the sheriff's office is responding.
A number of city leaders joined activists demanding answers and action today. This after allegations that deputies allegedly recorded strip searches in the county jail back in May. The coalition today said that what happened not only violates city policy, but also humiliated more than a dozen female inmates. Outside the San Francisco County Jail, a coalition of community leaders called for an investigation into allegations that 19 women were strip searched in front of male deputies who were recording with their body cameras.
A line was crossed. People were asked to undress. They were video recorded. They were filmed. And they're the women inside of our community that are on the inside.
An attorney for the women filed a claim with the city, which could be a precursor to a lawsuit. It says back on May 22nd, the women were called to the center of their housing area at the 7th Street Jail and strip searched one by one in spaces that were visible to other women as well as male deputies.
I have talked to each of these 19 women face to face. I have heard the horror story of what happened that day, and I've seen the terror in their eyes when they talk about what happened.
According to this complaint, several women shared that deputies, both male and female, laughed and recorded the inmates, with one deputy allegedly taunting that he would post the videos online. Lead attorney for the women, Elizabeth Bertolino, said the experience left at least several women crying.
And despite the fact that they have to be in the county jail with the very perpetrators who did that to them that day, they still are speaking out.
Attorneys say the incident violated multiple policies, including that strip searches of women inmates must happen in private areas with no male deputies present except for emergencies, and body cameras cannot be activated. Lead public defender Mano Raju says it follows a pattern of what he calls disturbing behavior, including a recent report that alleges that a deputy sexually assaulted a trans inmate.
This is a direct result of archaic policy choices that criminalize rather than help alleviate poverty, mental health conditions, and substance use disorders.
A spokesperson for the sheriff's office said in a statement, quote, "The conduct described is deeply concerning and does not reflect the policies, procedures, and professional standards we require of our staff." The assistant sheriff was made available at the press conference today, but she kept her comments vague, citing the pending investigation into the matter.
Although we cannot discuss more specific details of the investigations into this incident, personnel action was taken. The safety and well-being of those entrusted in our custody remain our highest priority.
Among those at the rally condemning the alleged strip searches, Supervisor Jackie Fielder.
This is gender-based violence. Every elected official in San Francisco should denounce this immediately.
We also spoke with Supervisor Shaman Walton, who told us that he's pushing the mayor's office to fund an independent oversight board for the sheriff's department, which was created back in 2020, but has largely been inactive because of underfunding.
When people know that there's oversight in place, when they know that they have accountability measures that they have to adhere to, it makes a difference. And we have not done that for the sheriff's department.
Meanwhile, the San Francisco City Attorney's Office confirms that it's reviewing the claims. Advocates made clear they'll keep pushing for accountability.
What we can do out here is we can fight for them, we can amplify their voices, and we can let it known to the people who did this or allowed this to happen that it ends here.
The San Francisco City Attorney's Office says that they are reviewing this. As for activists, they are calling on the deputies involved to be suspended while this investigation takes place.
Super sad. Hold on, let me click out of that. And let me share screen again. So women in San Francisco jail say deputies filmed humiliating mass strip search in view of male officers. And I mean, what are you getting out of like watching a female strip? A group of female inmates in San Francisco claims sheriff's deputies filmed them during a mass jail strip search with male officers watching and cracking jokes. Nearly 20 women have accused San Francisco sheriff's deputies of forcing them to strip naked in the county jail on May 22nd. Male deputies stood around and watched, several body cameras rolling, and joked about posting the videos online as the inmates were forced to bend over, spread cheeks, and cough, according to a complaint from the San Francisco Public Defender's Office obtained by the Post. There was zero privacy, according to the complaint, which says some of the women were strip searched in full view of prison staff and other inmates. One deputy reportedly taunted the woman that the video should be posted online. None of the women were provided clean clothing after the search, added the document, which was compiled from accounts of 18 alleged victims. San Francisco Public Defender blasted the alleged humiliation in a press conference outside the jailhouse on Monday. What these women endured in a mass strip search and the harassment that continued afterwards is unacceptable and unjust, okay? San Francisco Assistant Sheriff acknowledged that a mass strip search had taken place, but said those searches were conducted individually in private spaces. Carter didn't confirm the humiliating details described by the women, but she said personnel action had been taken in response to the complaint. Prisoners described a mob of armed deputies in assault charging into their unit and screaming at them, to get out of their bunks, according to inmates and attorneys interviewed by Mission Local. Deputies allegedly dragged the woman in cuffs to various sections of the cell block, some of which were in open view of the guards and other inmates, and forced them to strip down, Mission Local reported. They lifted our arms, under our breasts, said one woman Mission Local interview, who recalled the deputies giggling and laughing. It was out there in the open, and it was just very uncomfortable. There were several of us taking off our clothes at the same time, said another, who claimed to have been taken to a shower room. San Francisco Sheriff's Office states that the strip searches must be conducted outside the view of anyone not involved, and that no male staff are present when women are searched. The private attorney representing the woman said the city has 45 days to respond to the complaint, according to ABC News. This is super sad. It's unbelievable. But am I shocked? I think the way they treat prisoners in the U.S. period is disgusting. In my opinion, your thoughts?
I think it's really sad that this is happening in this day and age. I think that instead of them just getting suspended, like this man said, it all sounds good to me or to them. It don't sound good to me. These people should be locked up. They're violating their rights. I feel like this is not only an assault on them, it's an assault on their mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not only attacking them physically, you're attacking them mentally. To gawk over somebody and then tell them and taunt them and say, well, we should put this online for everybody to see. Now you're making this not only a crime in itself, but now you're making this where this is going to be a visual act that's going to be out there. Essentially, I hate this. I really do. I feel like they shouldn't have to go to prison to serve their time and be mistreated there. I hate it when I hear it. I hate the living conditions there. I feel like if you're going to send somebody there, it should be decent living conditions, and they shouldn't be served something you wouldn't eat. They also shouldn't be treated unfairly just because they broke the law. They're serving their time for breaking the law. You can't secondly judge them by, discrediting what they need. I just hate the whole thing.
Yeah, it's very sad. Katrina, your thoughts? We might have lost Katrina. Hold on one second. Katrina, your thoughts?
Can you hear me now? I don't know why StreamYard is messing with me tonight. But yeah, that's unbelievable sad. And I've seen a movie. I know you hear y'all say I'm talking about these movies from Lifetime about these male guards that was having these girls be pros on the streets. They was giving them substances in the jail. They was taking them out to be with these guys. They was pimping them out. They was doing a lot of stuff. And as we say, I don't think male guards should be around women. I really don't. And vice versa. Because we know when you working in the medical field, sometimes when you have like male patients or women patients and this guy, they don't want to go in the women room. And I understand that. This is ridiculous, beyond ridiculous. They probably was gonna show it on the internet to get clicks and views. This is sad. They all need to be fired. There's nothing laughable or anything about this. You are already being degraded by doing what you did, because everybody deserves a second chance. And I don't know what these women did whatsoever, but they still human beings, and they still should be show some type of dignity. But when they get in those places like that, they lose all rights, and it's sad. It's like I said, I hope they get everything they need to get done. I hope they get the justice that they need to be done. And I hope all those guys that was there clapping and whatsoever, all of them need to be fired. That's all I got, Diva.
Every last one of them, but not only be fired, but I mean, to me, not even just the men that was saying something, the people that told them to strip and allowed them to be stripped in the open, like everybody needs to be fired. They need to fire probably most of that unit that was there. And then the lady said, God bless them for speaking up. because then they said they was pretty much retaliated against because they spoke up. All of these ladies need to be moved out of that jail into another one. I don't know if there is another one that they could possibly be housed in while this is being investigated, because their lives are in danger. This is sad. It's sick. And then my thing is, who is overseeing and watching the body cam footage? Because the minute you saw that on the footage, it shouldn't have been that the ladies had to even make a complaint. It should have been straight up that it was dealt with once the uploading of that body cam footage came through. I don't know how the body cam footage works, but I'm sure it has to be an overseer of this body cam footage. Because what if I do something crazy on the street and I just decide I'm going to try to delete this footage in case the footage did come on? Like, so I feel like that footage has to be automatically uploaded to something, and whoever is overseeing that body footage, body cam footage, they should have said something. Before I close out, I'm gonna squeeze in real quick. I kept this one on the side in case we have time, and we got a few minutes. This is a young man. Something got to be done about these hospitals and these doctors. This is a young man. The family took him to the hospital. He wasn't feeling well. They sent him home, and he eventually died. They was like, "Oh, it's just a virus. Go home. Bye. You'll be fine." So 11-year-old boy dies in front of family. Mom claims doctor said it was just a virus. May he rest in peace. That is him right there. An 11-year-old boy in England died in front of his mother and grandmother at home, just hours after complaining to his doctor about a sore throat and being told it was nothing to worry about. Frankie Ray Law went to see a doctor on November the 14th in England, but he was told his sore throat was just the virus, and he was sent home and died, according to Southwest News Service. The boy's mother says her son's condition got worse in a hurry later that night. She says he was laughing and playing around like usual when all of a sudden he started having trouble breathing. She says her son came to the living room gasping for air, and his face expressed absolute sheer horror. She says they went to the bathroom, and within moments, he was unconscious and slumped over the toilet. She says his lips were gray and his eyes were glazed. His grandmother performed CPR for 30 minutes, but he only opened his eyes for a couple of seconds and spat up some saliva before knocking out again. She called the paramedics, and her son was rushed to the hospital, where the doctors put him on a ventilator and told her the chance of survival was very thin. She said she was told he would have brain damage if he survived, and she ultimately pulled the plug. May he rest in peace. Frankie Ray's cause of death is unclear. His mom says she has no clue what was wrong with him and feels like she failed him. She didn't fail him, that hospital did. And see, the thing with children, because remember, I did pediatric nursing. The thing with children, they have very little reserve. They go from 0 to 100 just like that. So that's why it's not shocking to me that mother said one minute he was playing around, the next minute he just couldn't even breathe. And just like that, he was gone. Super, super sad. In my opinion, your thoughts?
I think we need to hold these hospitals accountable. I think this is getting really sad that we are hearing so many stories come out about people going to the hospital and being told that what they're feeling is nothing and to go back home. And I think something needs to hold them accountable, because we can't keep losing lives and no accountability is being had. I feel like prayers to this mom. Okay, it's nothing else she could have did. She's not a doctor, but I do think we need to, if they turn you away from one hospital, go to another one. Because if your child is feeling pain, don't just throw it up under the bridge and say, no, this doctor is right. Always get you a second opinion, because these hospitals are running reckless these days. And I really don't understand why our healthcare system doesn't stand up for us more. But it's praying for the baby family.
Yeah, praying for the family. Wayne, you got in. Your thoughts on this story?
Oh, sorry about that. This StreamYard, I think the iPhone, the iPad, they had a new operating, updated it. Now on iPad, I couldn't get in. But anyway, I forgot what I was going to say. Just that quick. Oh, I was going to say, you think this is something. If they don't get this healthcare system together and these subsidies aren't renewed, you're going to see more of this. Oh, you're okay. Or it's just this, go home. Take 2 aspirin and go to bed. So if they're doing this now, telling people, because I had a friend, same thing happened. He went to the hospital. He told them, look, I'm not well, blah, 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 blah. They sent him home. He died.
Wow.
And I had a doctor tell me, he said, if you feel that bad, you can tell them you're not leaving the hospital. If you're feeling that bad and you need to stay, if you tell them, I'm staying, the doctor, he said, you have to tell them that you're that bad. Like the lady that was having the baby, and they sent her on. She should have stayed. Because they can't really, I think it's against the law. If you feeling that bad, that's what he told me, and that was the doctor. Because I had to go to the hospital. I said, well, they sent me home, and I had to come right back. So he said, don't let them send you home next time. That's it.
Yeah, it's very sad. Katrina, your thoughts?
Yeah, I had seen where there was like I think 1 million people going to be kicked out of United Healthcare. It's going to be 1 million the first of the year. They dropping 1 million Medicare patients. This is sad. That baby probably had strep, and folks don't realize strep can go all through your body. It can give you a heart attack. You know what I'm saying? He probably had a strep throat, and for them to send him home, did they give him medicine or anything? Did they run tests? You talking about it's just a virus, but what type of virus? Because different antibiotics is for different types of virus. All antibiotics doesn't cure all types of illnesses or viruses or stuff like that. This is sad on so many levels. This child is gone for what? Because the doctor didn't want to do his job. And half the time when you go to the emergency room, you don't even see a doctor. You see the nurse practitioner. They may have a doctor on staff, but the doctor really don't come in to be the nurse practitioners or the PAs that doing the work. They're the one that's running the hospitals. They got a doctor there, just there. But most of the time, it's the PAs and the nurse practitioners. Because I tell them quick, I said, my insurance ain't going to pay you. So you do what you're going to do. But if you don't get paid, don't worry about it because it ain't coming out of my pocket. But that's sad that they're doing this to these people. They're doing it to, that's black girl. And then look at the color of their skin, the ones that getting turned away. But rest in peace to that little baby. I'm sorry. I wish it could be different. Condolences to his mom and grandma to watch your child leave while you watching them. That's the most hardest thing, my dear God. I would sue the hospital. I'm sorry. I would sue them. I would sue them. I would, because you sent my child home without even making sure he was okay. Yeah, they would be sued. That's all I got.
Because what test did they run to determine that, it was just nothing to worry about? This is just, it's extremely sad and disturbing.
Negligence.
Yeah, negligence. Thank you, Wayne. I feel for the mother and I feel for the grandmother. And so I don't know at what point maybe they called 911 as they were trying to give him CPR. I don't know. But you know what? When you go in panic mode, you're in panic mode. And that's why, when we trained in the hospital, they always said, let people know. You got to direct people on what to do. Sometimes you say like all these people were standing around watching a situation and nobody did this or nobody did that. That's because everybody is in their different form of their own panic mode. And that's why when you come on the scene, like on the street, we say, you call 911, you help do CPR. You direct people on what to do, because that will break their trance of just being in panic mode, because now they got a job to do, right? I said everybody just standing there kind of looking. They're not all looking out of being malicious. Some of them are straight looking because they're in panic. They're kind of frozen in their brain and they wasn't thinking, right? So I don't know at what time this mother called 911 and the grandmother was giving CPR, but I'm sure she was panicked. This is her baby. This is her baby. Took him to the bathroom. She saw sheer panic on his eyes when he couldn't breathe. And I'm sure she didn't know what to do. She was like, oh my God. Wayne, did you want to say something before I close out?
I was going to say, you know, the last story we did a couple of days ago with the baby, the mother had the baby in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And the husband said he did not know what to do. She said the baby's coming, you know. He said, I don't know what to do. He froze.
Yep.
He literally didn't know what to do. No help at all. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that mother, I updated earlier, Wayne, that mother is back in the hospital. She had to go back to the hospital because she was having like complications afterwards, after she had the baby. And I bet it was from all of the trauma and the delay for when she went to the first hospital. Because when you watch that video of them pushing her out, she was literally crying and she could barely get up in the truck, right? And, you know, you could tell this woman was in pain. To just roll somebody out like that, that is in clear pain like that, is crazy. And even if this woman wasn't dilated, the fact that, like I said before, when we did the story originally, the fact that she was in that much pain and you sent her home and she's pregnant is crazy, because if the mother's in pain like that, obviously the baby is going to be in distress. So they were evil. That whole hospital needs to be sued and shut down. Point blank and period. Listen, guys, I appreciate y'all spending trending topics with me. We are 2 days from Thanksgiving. And I will say this, if I can't say it enough, I'm grateful and thankful that y'all come through and y'all spend darn near every night with me, and y'all give me time and we go through these trending topics, and y'all are very active in the comments. Much appreciated. And y'all also hit the like button. So I really am grateful and thankful to y'all. And I hope that everybody, but I will be here tomorrow night, but I do hope that in case you're not here, in case you're traveling or you're cooking or you're going to be busy, whatever, I do hope y'all all have an amazing holiday with your family. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you have the best time ever. Whether you're going to be by yourself or just one other person or two other people, I hope you enjoy your moment. Listen, guys, thanks again for being here. Hit that like button, and I'll see y'all next time. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Choo choo.
Choo choo. Love y'all.
Choo choo.